What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Tuesday, August 29th, day number 28 inside the Big Brother house. And there's cracks everywhere in these alliances. Paranoia is running wild inside this house. We've got a lot to go over because it was kind of a powder keg to start the day. Then it really kind of kicked off a little bit later. And I think there's still going to be more stuff today that takes place. So we've got a lot to go over. First off, Veto. The veto ceremony was yesterday. It wasn't used. Blue and Jag are still up on the block. One of them will be evicted. Will they be going though? We don't know because the vote for the power of invincibility, that is still up for grabs. We don't know who the final 4 people are in the vote that ended today. There's a possibility they were being told. There was lots of like DR sessions going on. If I had to guess who the people who are like the top 4 were going to be, I think Cirie's a guaranteed lock to be in there. I think Matt has a really good chance of being in. Jag. That 4th one is a little tricky. I'm not 100% sure who's going to end up being in that 4th spot. I think those 3 spots really are kind of solid. I don't know if Blue has the fandom really behind her. Cory could be an option maybe to go in that 4th spot. Maybe America, just because the whole little showmance that they've been having. Felicia, I don't know if it would really matter if Felicia was in it, but that could be an option too. I'm just not 100% sure who that final person will be, but I almost can guarantee you it's going to be Cirie, Matt, and Jag. If I had to pick who's going to be in that, those are the 3 that I think are almost for sure locks. But we'll find out on Thursday. But we may find out earlier than that if somebody starts talking about it. Maybe they were told not to talk about it. So again, it would just be speculation until we get like solid evidence on the feeds of somebody talking about it. But other than that, a couple of other things happened today. So Bowie Jane, we don't talk about Bowie Jane much, do we? She really kind of disappears. But you know what? She was involved a good bit today. First off, Cirie and Izzy, they pretty much figured out that she's lying about her age. They're like, there's no way. there's no way she's saying it's not a thing. So they figured that out finally. But she comes in important later with a conversation she has with Cameron. It's one of the reasons why, if you're watching this video, it might have been a little bit later than it kind of normally is. Hopefully not, depending on how quickly I can get everything edited and uploaded onto YouTube. But they were up really late, and I was actually following more of another conversation late at night while she and Cameron were having that conversation in the HOH room. I wanted to make sure and go back to listen to it because I had heard something that was said, and it was said. You're going to want to listen all the way to the end of this video because that comes in later. But yeah, Bowie Jane, she had a big role today out of nowhere. Felicia went and made a final 2 with Jared. Well, basically she was like, listen, you know, I don't know how much I'm trusting Cirie anymore. She's got the final 2. I don't think I could beat her in the final 2. We should have a final 2 because she's going to take Izzy. Izzy's probably going to be a final 2 with her. And they both were like, you know, listen, Izzy's a detriment, right? And like, I hope Cirie would vote Izzy out when the time comes. But maybe me and you should have a final 2. Because I had a final 2 with her, but maybe me and you two should. The other thing that came up with that, though, is she filled in Jared on the plan to get rid of Blue this week, which she didn't know that Cirie already filled him in on. But still, that's an interesting little development that she went out of her way to go tell Jared this, when for most of this game, she's just kind of been playing Cirie's sidekick. But Felicia's also going out on her own, and there's another part of this that's going to come up even later on after another big conversation that takes place later. So Felicia, starting to come into her own in this game, and I like to see it. Cory in America, we've been talking about how they've been talking too much, and he actually started to wonder, and he talked to Cirie about this, of how, like, is it legit? Like, is America really into me? I don't know, but either way, I've got my boundaries, and we've seen him kind of going over this. America really wants to spoon all the time. Cory's like, I don't know, my mom's watching. So it's you know, something to keep an eye on. At least Cory's thinking like, hey, is this for real? Personally, I think America really does like him. I think, sure, maybe some of it's to do with game, but when we're watching the feeds, and I think you guys could probably see it too, there's times where she's not even near him, and like she'll be looking over at him, right? And just giving a little smile, or like just the way she does things. Again, it could be all game. If so, bravo. Bravo to her. Because I'm buying it hook, line, and sinker as well. But I think she really just is kind of into him. And again, sometimes maybe it's just being in that house where normally she wouldn't be that into him. But when you're in that house and it's everything you know, and it's the only thing that's going on, you're more interested in stuff like that. So yeah, Cory's having some doubts, and that could just be self-confidence issues too, where he's like, America? Because Cory, I get it. Listen, I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm proud of you. Anyway, like I said, they've been talking too much. People are worrying about them. They get thrown under the bus again later. We'll get to that. But Jared did fill in Cory. He's like, listen, people are starting to worry. Like, you're leaking info. You're talking to Cameron. America's saying too much. Like, you got to be careful. And that was kind of interesting because, again, Jared was kind of talking about how he's like, listen, me, you, Blue, America, the four of us, like, I want to make this work because the four of us got to watch each other's back. We all got this little bit of a showmance thing going on. Let's kind of stick together. And then they talk about how they have to take 2 out of Cirie's side. They were like, listen, we got to weaken the numbers over there. Because if we don't weaken the numbers over there, it gets too unbalanced. And they mentioned Mimi. They were like, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Mimi go, right? I would hate to see her go, but it wouldn't hurt, right? Interesting. Very interesting. And then this is where things really start to ramp up a little bit, because we had kind of 2 different storylines kind of going on at once that all kind of converged into one madness pile. So the first thing that was going on was Cirie and Jared still not agreeing on who the target should be, right? Cirie and her side are on the idea that, hey, let's keep Jag. He's a competitor. He's going to be loyal to us if we keep him. We can use him to take out Cameron and Red. Meanwhile, Jared, he likes to play Worm the Sausage. And I can't blame him. But also, he has a point. His point is, why are we keeping Jag in over Blue? Like, what is the difference between them? If you're saying that, oh, he's a better competitor, well, what happens when you go and you blindside Red and Cameron, and then it's Izzy and Jag up on the block, and then Jag wins Veto, and then we're screwed? Like, it's the same thing on why they didn't blindside Hisam when he was HOH and keep Reilly and get rid of Cameron. Because if they would have done that, it would have put Hisam on alert, and then he would have known that they were going to do this potential backdoor to him. So if you go against Cameron now at this point and you go and vote to keep Jag over Blue without Cameron knowing about it, you're then just setting it up for, oh, Red wins HOH and he goes after you guys hard. Does he even put Jag up? That's a question, right? So he's got some points, right? I don't want people to just go, oh, Jared's just thinking with his other head, right? Because maybe, yes, but he also has some points, right? Like, I think that's what's really interesting about this whole dynamic with Cirie and Jared being in there. One, it's way too much of an advantage because they can share all this info. but it's messy and they don't agree. And it's complicating things. And people are starting to wonder, like, what's really going on? And it's spinning everyone's heads all over the place. And it's causing even more chaos, distrust, and paranoia. And it's bringing more intrigue. So while I hate it because it's so overpowered and just such a huge advantage, I kind of love it because it's making things so much more dynamic and messy in there. Basically, they continue to have this little argument in the storage room. And, you know, earlier, Blue had actually said to Cirie and Felicia that she would be okay with taking Jared out if she was an HOH. And that just because they were in like this little like showmance thing, like that wouldn't be like what she would keep him from. So Cirie brought that up to Jared, but meanwhile, Jared just doesn't want to hear it because again, he's like, yeah, but Jag would do the same thing, right? So like, what's the difference? It doesn't really make any difference. I personally can't trust Jag, but I know I can trust Blue more, right? You may be hearing her say like, oh, I'll put him up, but it's not going to be next week. Jag could very easily just put me up next week. So he's got some points. Cirie also has her points, but it's kind of the same thing with Hisam, right? So it's just lots of circles they were going in. Later after this conversation, because eventually Cirie just kind of says, listen, fine, like you're not voting with us, then we have to vote out Jag, right? Like if we don't have your vote, we don't have the numbers, so we can't do this. So she's staying. Fine. And like she just kind of agrees with it. But she goes and has a conversation with Izzy. And they're like, so can we get the votes without him? And they're like, but Izzy's like, we can. It's kind of dangerous though. AKA they can go to Cory, they can go to America to try and get the numbers for the vote. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But while that was happening, Jared goes to Blue and he's like, listen, you should start making an effort to make sure where people's votes are. Get on that campaign trail. Go get the word out because, you know, people are starting to talk how you're not campaigning. So if you're not campaigning, they might think you're comfortable and it's like, why are you comfortable? And then they send you home. Same thing that was happening with Cameron not packing his bags last week. So they almost flipped. They almost flipped it. So while that was happening, we also had another kind of little storyline going on, right? With Red and Izzy. We've been talking about how Red and Cameron in general have started to kind of wonder like why people are feeling so paranoid. Why is everybody feeling so weird? They started to hear that Izzy was saying like, oh, is Red going to put me up? This got Red really kind of upset. He's like, well, why is she putting my name out there? One, not just to put my name out there and say it at all, but to put my name out there as like, oh, what if he wins? What if he puts me up? He feels like that's putting a target on him. So that really starts to make him kind of question what's going on here. Him and Cameron also start to wonder, why does Jared always feel so comfortable? They're like, something feels like it's up with that. We need to figure this all out. So they kind of go out and they start talking to Jared. They start talking to Izzy and they start trying to figure things out. Eventually, though, Red has a conversation with Cirie where he's like, listen, I heard what Izzy was saying. I don't like it. Like, we need to resolve this or we need to dissolve it. Basically saying the alliance, we need to get rid of it. If we can't settle this, we need to get rid of this. So Cirie, she's just like, let me go get her. So she drags Izzy into this and it felt like it might be more of like a actual fight, but they just kind of, they talked, right? They were like, I listen, I hear you. We need to communicate better. Let's do this in a group. Let's get everybody together and we can kind of hash this out. Let's have a meeting of all of Legend 25 and bring it all together. They do this, but it also kind of just brings more questions because Felicia and Mimi, they start questioning what's going on too, because they're like, wait a minute. All right, so now we are voting out Jag, but we had this plan for Blue, but it doesn't make sense. Why are we flipping on it now? And they start to wonder what's going on. Then Felicia and Mimi, they pretty much nail exactly what's going on with Cirie. And they're like, we heard the way Red talks to her. how he trusts her so much, and he knew since day one, and this and that. Cirie's never going to get rid of him. She'll have somebody else do it so that she can have his jury vote in the end. And it's really cool to see Felicia like playing the game on her own, not behind Cirie. Like, she is out there thinking for herself. And her and Mimi are having some questions. Some more cracks are forming here. After this, Jared actually went and vented to Mimi, kind of just saying like, hey, you know, I don't think Blue should go. We should keep her. It doesn't really make any sense either way. Like, why is keeping him a better competitor? Like, why is that better for us? I don't really understand. Mimi kind of just really was wondering like, oh, maybe I can get him on board with like, yeah, let's get rid of Blue. But she just kind of sat there and was just like, oh no. Oh, she was all of us. Mimi is all of us when we have to sit there and listen to these crazy theories and paranoia that everybody has. Then there was one more chat. I remember I told you about good old Bowie Jane and how she was going to be kind of big in this. Because again, remember, most of Cirie's side would at this point like to keep Jag over Blue. But since Jared doesn't want to, Cirie's kind of like, yeah, I guess we'll stick with getting Blue out. And then Izzy's kind of there too. And Felicia and Mimi were calling out Izzy, saying like she's a problem. And it's really all starting to crack and crumble. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be even more crazy for the rest of this week, because we still have 2 days until this eviction. So anything can happen. Plus with the new power, who knows what's going to go on with that. But also, Cameron and Bowie, they had a chat in the up in the HOH room after all this went down. And they were just talking about how, you know, Cory in America, like they're an issue. And like, you know, people were wondering about Cameron getting too close to America. And he's like, yeah, I told you I was. Like, I don't understand why everybody's upset. And here's the thing, Cameron and Red, they gotta have a point too. But the real interesting thing was when they both kind of said, and like at first it was joking. They were like, I know what we'll do. We'll just keep Jag and we'll get rid of Izzy. We'll replace Izzy with Jag. And then they were like, actually, yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, I wouldn't mind it. It's too late for that. The whole alliance, they want Jag out anyway. Why should we bother bringing this up? If you just brought it up, this would cause even more trouble. And I'm just hoping that tomorrow at some point, Bowie has a conversation with like Felicia and Mimi. And they're like, why don't we, let's keep Jag. I'm hoping that convo happens today. I really hope. Other than that, let's go and jump into the alliance chart for this week. And let me warn you, it's a mess. Whew. Yeah, it's a lot, right? We talked about with Sunday's episode, Cirie was kind of saying she needed a card to keep all these alliances straight. The card doesn't help much, I don't think, does it? And these aren't even all the ones that she's even fully aware of, I don't think. So let's, you know, I think what we need is the shrink ray again. Guys, I think we need to dive deeper. Frankie! Yeah, you get the shrink ray. Yep, we need it again. Bring it over. Yep. Here we are. Shrunken down. We're inside the alliance chart at this point. And yeah, let's kind of go over it. We got the 7 deadly sins right over here. That was already on the episode talked about and everything too. So just notice I still have the little HOH for Felicia over there. I have to get rid of some of those. But the 7 deadly sins still up and going strong. Underneath them, you have that foursome of Jag, Blue, and Matt and Jared. But again, that's kind of loose now at this point. Same thing with the one underneath Jag, Blue, and Matt. One of them is going to be evicted this week anyway. So those ones probably don't matter as much in the long run. family style down there too. Like that's kind of a thing, but not really a thing. All of them have like little connections to each other. Like American Jag have little connections, and Cory and Jag and America all have like that little like unreliables thing they were doing. It's not like a real alliance, but it's an alliance. I didn't even bother putting it on the chart, but it's a thing. It's more of a joke than anything else. And again, I'm pretty sure at this point Jag's going to get evicted this week. Who knows? With this house, who knows? But I think for the most part, it's not something you really have to worry about. Down there to the left of that, or should I say the right of that, you've got America, Cory, and Matt. Little trio there. They were calling themselves the three-way rats. I don't think that's like a legit name. I think that was just kind of a joke. But the three of them, they talk, they chat. They seem like they have a little bit of a thing going there. How real it is, we don't know. Matt, Red, and Cameron, again, they're kind of little group that they got going on. But you also got Legend 25, fully fake, but also real now, but also not fake, not real. Who the heck knows what's really going on with there? But it's fake. We'll see. We got the other side of the chart too, because we'll go over this middle section that's right next to me again in a bit. But if we jump all the way over, we got for real, Cirie, Izzy, Felicia, Jared, Mimi, America, and Cory. This was actually said by Cirie to be like her actual real alliance, the one that she's kind of focused on the most. But again, with all the stuff that's been happening with Cory and America recently, seems like they're kind of getting pushed out a little bit too. So we'll see how that kind of all plays out as well. Make It Happen, also a thing, but that's the one where they just kind of swap America for Bowie. You've got the foursome there over there with Jared, Cirie, Felicia, and Izzy. Some cracks there forming though. We talked about how that's happening. The Bye Bye Bitches still as well going on. And then you got down there little final two deals. There's a few that I probably should add even that to that too. Again, the Felicia and Jared final two that was made today. I think even Mimi and Felicia had made kind of like a deal, but I didn't really add it there because I didn't think it was that real, but it seems like maybe it's more real than I was thinking. So I should probably add that one in there as well. Because they're not just final two deals, they're more of just like strong pairings that I think like are always going to look out for each other. And I think those are ones that I probably could add there as well. But then let's talk about like the main section here, this middle one. Obviously, again, Jared and Cirie, the cracks are forming there. They're not agreeing on this. What's good for Jared and what's good for Cirie are not necessarily good for the other. So it's kind of interesting to see all this kind of play out. Underneath, you have the two little trios. You've got Jared, Cirie, and Izzy, which that one even seems like maybe Jared's not feeling as comfortable with. And then you have Felicia, Jared, and Cirie as well. Lots of final twos going on there. Cirie was a little upset as well with Felicia for making that deal. She's like, I thought we were cool. But Felicia's also kind of upset with Cirie for all the stuff with Red and everything going on with there. So there's lots of cracks forming. Again, it's wild how messy this season is. The Brown Sugar Babes, also another one that I think is really like a solid one that I think are trying to look out for each other. But with all of this madness and all of this chaos, it seems like maybe some people are getting disillusioned. We also have the Crossroads underneath there as well. But again, with the whole Cory and America stuff, that's a little iffy on how strong that is. And then this one down here. So this isn't really an alliance. This is just what I call Cirie's daycare. And at first it was just all the kiddos. That's how it became the daycare, because obviously you had Jared, you had Izzy. At one point, Cirie was trying to get Reilly in there before she got evicted. Cory's kind of in there, but again, maybe not so much anymore. Matt got adopted fairly recently. And then now I think at this point, Red and Cameron are like those guys that like are too old to be hanging out there, but they still hang out there anyway because they want to be cool. And that they pretty much, this is a group that are all super loyal to Cirie and trust her almost blindly. Jared obviously has his reasons to trust her pretty blindly, but even with that, he goes against her, right? Like he doesn't always agree with everything that she's doing. Under there, we also have Izzy, Cory, both who have kind of their reasons why they kind of trust her, even though they probably shouldn't because they're fans of Survivor and they should know better. You got Matt, who's just fully bought in. He just was looking for a homes here, and Cirie just did her magic and was able to adopt him. And then Red and Cameron, again, they just for some reason fully trust Cirie. Like Red is full on like, I trust her with everything that is in me. Like I looked into her and I believe her. Cameron also fully trusts Cirie. They both really think that she is very trustworthy and that Izzy's the problem. If as long as Izzy's there, she's the one causing all this madness. So Cirie's daycare. Pretty much anyone who is fully loyal to Cirie, pretty much blindly. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that's really going on. I did have last week a target up there for Hisam, but with this week, the target's ever shifting. More so even than last week, where Hisam was for sure the target. It seems like now things are even more kind of in flux, and who knows whether it will be Blue or Jag to be evicted on Thursday. One of them will be. Will they be going home, though? They could be coming right back in the house. We'll have to see how that all plays out. But that pretty much wraps up everything that happened yesterday on the live feeds. I know this was actually kind of a long update. I usually try and keep them under around like 20 minutes or so. But I think we stretched this one a little bit, almost to a half hour. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me along with this. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to all of my socials, description down below, pinned comment, things for like my Twitter, Twitch, Discord. You can join the conversation over there. We always are talking stuff that's going on the live feeds, all other kinds of stuff too, sports, everything that's going on. Anything you like. You post picture your house pets. Go for it. And also a couple other things. There's a new thing that YouTube has. I don't know how new it actually is, but down underneath the video, right where you would normally subscribe, follow, share, do all that kind of stuff, there's another little button there that says clip. If you guys see anything cool or interesting in one of my videos, you think, hey, this is something that's kind of cool, and I want to send this out to more people, just a little snippet of this video, you can click that clip button, make little clips and share them around as well to help kind of just get the word out about what's going on here and how we try and cover the show and the community that we're building here. Because I really love that we're able to talk about everything here, not get real toxic and negative about anything that's going on. Yes, you might not agree with some of the things that the house guests do or say in there, but at the end of the day, they're all human beings. Nobody's perfect, and they're in there playing a game. Any of us in there would struggle probably to be put under that microscope 24/7, 365. And I love that we're able to, you know, enjoy the show, see everything that's going on, have strong opinions on it, but not take it to a deeper, darker place than it really needs to. Because at the end of the day, this show's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, all right? And I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I can't wait to see how all the paranoia and madness settles after this. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time.